yeah. This is cool. Some old bunk beds. We're back at the houseboat. I just had to pick up my release for my bow, but we're gonna do a little stalk hunting today. I've had the bug since I got that hog last weekend, so the weather is perfect. It's in the 50s and it's windy and overcast, and like it's my favorite kind of weather for hunting. So we'll check it out. But yeah, I'm gonna just run down the river a little bit and just walk around some, maybe see if I can find somewhere to put a stand up to. So let's get after it. So the wind is all over the place, so I'm just gonna go for it. This is pretty fresh. So when I'm hunting hogs, I'm mostly just looking for some extremely fresh sign, whether it's tracks or rooting or some poop. You want some really fresh stuff, like looks like you just missed them. And then see, like this right here, so it looks really good. Then you want to start looking for a trail. The big boars, they typically are by themselves, and the sows and the little piglets are they kind of group together, so when they go somewhere they kind of get in a line and all go together, so you'll see like a very defined game trail. And they have short little feet compared to deer, so you'll know the difference. This thing was like mostly taken apart last year, so I think somebody's putting it back together. old and new. Just staring at me. Just go back to what they were doing. I've always thought that they're very smell like oriented, like scent oriented. Like two of them just stared me down and just like, okay. The wind is it's just all over the place. I think they winded me just a little bit there, but it wasn't super bad. So they're just back to business. Alright, so that was super cool. Seeing them hogs. I had a shot on every one of them, but I'm just not interested in hogs right now. I want to get into some deer. But that was really neat. I ended up like going all the way around them and getting upwind from them, so they smelled me. That's fine though. Definitely gotta try and hunt this spot. It's like a little ridge out here in the swamp. Really cool. Got this giant oak tree. Holy crap. I was not expecting that. They kind of scared me. I was like 7 more hogs right there. Wow. Kind of wish I wouldn't have spooked those. Kind of want to bring one of the other guys that want to shoot a hog out here. So anyways, I'm back at the river. I'm going to go ahead and call this hunt. Pretty cool. I got to see all those hogs. I was more after deer and just scouting a little bit. I want to find somewhere a little closer to the houseboat. I think this will work. So I got a saddle setup coming. I'm gonna give that a shot and just do some still hunting when it all comes in, and I'll try it out here. So probably save this video in case somebody else wants to come out, and I'll just put it all together for this weekend. So either we'll see y'all later or we'll see y'all on the next hunt. Alright, today is Sunday. It's a couple of days later. I didn't end up getting to come out here anymore except for today. Let me show you what I got going on. Got a nice futon for the houseboat. Alright, we got the futon in there. Wasn't too bad. Didn't record it just to save some time. It's super nice. I think it's hard body or hardwood futons. Way nicer than I thought it was going to be when I picked it up. It's got a little storage areas. Super heavy, which is actually a good thing because the boat's too light on this side, so some extra weight over there is going to be really good to kind of get the lean out of this thing. Alright, here's with the futon just folded out. I just want to check it real quick. So Somebody was drawing on it. That's why we got a good deal on it. Probably just get a cover for it though. Looks good. Nice area to chill and stuff. Yeah, got the door on. Let's go. So Wattcycle, one of our favorite channel sponsors, sent us another battery for the budget mud boat. We've been running their stuff in the Gnu and in my Edge, my new boat, and I had a battery in my old boat. Probably been using their stuff for a year now, which is super good. So this is their 12 volt 100 amp hour mini LiPo battery. So this thing is super small compared to your average like deep cycle battery. This is kind of what the equivalent of that is, a deep cycle battery. It's 20 something pounds, super light. It's got this nice strap. They've just put out a ton of power too for the trolling motor. I used my other one last weekend in the hunting trip video, and it did super good. The trolling motor feels completely different with a lithium battery, and it lasts all day. Also, it's got the Bluetooth, so you can download Wattcycle's app and monitor your charge state and how much output, like how much power you're using, and then how much you're charging too when you're charging it, so you can monitor all that. Like the other day we used this thing on my dad's boat. Something was killing his battery, so we put my other battery in his and used the app and started unplugging stuff and found what was killing his battery, and it ended up being like a LED light under his he's got like a gun tray on one side, so that was really cool. So if you guys are interested in a Wattcycle battery, I'll put a link in the description. Super good stuff. We use it in all our boats now, so if you buy it using the link in the description, it'll help out the channel. So thanks again, Wattcycle. So we ended up running pretty far upriver just to go somewhere we haven't been before. There's a little spot back in here I want to check out. Back when I was looking for those old fishing camps and moonshine stills on the old maps, there's a place back here where there's a building marked. It's pretty far in the woods off the old section river, so I'm gonna try and get to that, and as soon as I get there I'm just gonna turn around and come back and see what we see. Let's see how this tree, it's got like some mud rubbed on it. The hogs will go down there in that water. Can run up here and just rub all over this tree. It's pretty old though, so we're not really after hogs anyway, so that's kind of a good sign. I feel like they run the deer off when there's too many in an area. Alright, you see how this is clear? Kind of, not so much clear that way, but there's a lot of small trees. This looks like an old logging road to me, which makes a lot of sense why there would be some kind of building. It's probably a logging camp. So we're super close now. Just had a deer. I just had a deer blow at me, which kind of sucks, but honestly I'm like so far upriver and deep in the woods now, I don't really want to mess with a deer. Kind of just enjoying walking around right now. I'd like to see one, but I doubt I'd shoot one unless it's just a monster buck. Yeah, this is definitely a road. I'm like, we're super deep in the river swamp right now. Like, you really can't, there is no access to this anymore because of how the river runs. So that's really interesting. Man, that's super cool. This is the bottom of a hand pump for a well and a hand-driven well, piece of pipe for a well, just like we found at that last camp. This area is like super raised. Oh yeah, this is cool. Is this an old oven? This is super cool. I love this kind of stuff. This old abandoned, way in the woods. You'll never find it unless you just either come across it or happen to be looking for it on the map like I was. Dang, this is cool. Some old bunk beds. So that other camp, there wasn't really much left. But like, you can definitely tell there was something here. That's cool. See how all this is dug out? I imagine this was a logging camp and they used like a bulldozer just to push all this stuff up. Like make this little mound right here to get the cabin up off the like the lower level of the river, because out here would have been the original or the old river run. So you could think like, oh, that's river out there, and they just pull their boats up. There's the cabin right here on the river. Man, this is super cool. I don't know if y'all can tell how like raised that is compared to everything else, you know. And this up here is already pretty high compared to everything else. So I've always heard that there was a bunch of these camps like this, and this may just be a hunting camp or fishing camp, but there was a bunch of them. And then when the state bought all this land and turned it into, along the river, and turned it into public land, water management land, they burnt down all of the cabins and, you know, little buildings along the river. There used to be a bunch of them. And then, as far as I know, there's only one left that's like a real cabin. That's on the north end of the river. And maybe some people will recognize this. If you happen to have a photo of this, it's on the map in the 80s, so it's not that long ago. If you have a photo of this camp, I'd love to, you know, show it in one of the videos. Alright, I'm going to start heading back to the boat. The sun's starting to set a little bit, and I don't want to be way up here at night, so I'm just going to start easing my way back that way. And then Alright, made it back to the boat. There's one more of these camps on the map, probably a mile upriver. I'm going to go ahead and check it out. It's pretty close to where the river is now, and it's not on one of these elevated areas like this one is, so may not be nothing to that one, but we're close enough. I got back to the boat pretty early, so we're going to go check it out real quick. Alright, so we're at pretty close to the other cabin location. It is a little higher than I thought right here, so we may be able to see something. I'm just going to leave my bow and all my other stuff here, so I can run over there and check it out and just come right back. Yeah, I'm just not seeing anything that says there would be a camp here. I think I'm going to call it. So on my map, I downloaded that map and then downloaded another app where I could upload that map to that app, and it'll put me, like, kind of show me on the old map, and it kind of shows that this camp is like would be out here in the river. So, like in this area. So I think the river took it, which kind of stinks. I wanted to see it. The other ones had a well, like a driven well or jetted well. I don't see that here either, so. This doesn't look like a great spot for a camp either. No cabins or anything there, so that's unfortunate. But I've had a couple questions about my budget mud boat. I didn't really go through what all I did to this on YouTube so much. I just kind of tried it out one video. But this is a 1442 aluminum boat that's been completely gutted, like nothing's on the inside. It's got a mud skipper 15 horse featherlight surface drive. We've done a winch, a light bar. We built a cheap little housing for the light bar using some aluminum Z-bar, and then I've got a trolling motor that I put on and off of it. We'll run for the battery, just to keep it super light. I've got a jet ski battery back there. And so with these little mud boats, you want to be as light as possible, just so you draft as little as possible. The mud motors aren't like pound for pound as powerful as the outboards, so you lose a little power there. So you need your boat to be kind of as light as possible, if that makes sense. So this thing had a floor in it and sides. I gutted every bit of that. It had foam in it that was completely full of water. Just tried to keep it as light as possible. We've got that Wattcycle super light battery up front. The winch is wireless, so, and it's kind of the smallest winch you can almost buy with that being usable, you know. So, and you want if you're going to do something like this, you want a flat bottom boat. You don't want a V, because that V will push the water away from your prop, and then because the prop's kind of running half out of the water, you're going to lose grip, if that makes sense. So yeah, if you're going to do this, I wouldn't bother with the smaller motors like the 212 motors. I'd start out at least with a 420, and the long tails and the twisters, I'm not a fan of them, just because I've ran one of these, and this thing runs just like an outboard with the surface drive. So I would do at least a 14-foot boat with a 420 motor at the very least. I think I'm going to go up to the 22 horse motor and a little bit bigger surface drive, because this boat is a little heavier because it's all welded. It's got a lot more ribs in it. But yeah, yeah, if you have any more questions, just let me know. It's not much to it. These things are super useful on the river though. They do run in basically inches of water, and the logs and the trees don't affect them so much as the outboard. You know, there's like very little hanging in the water. It's just, I don't know if you can see it, like half the prop is in the water when you're on plane. So super cool. I've been having a lot of fun with this thing. All right, let's get back to the ramp. Alright guys, so that was a fun couple trips to the river. Walking up on those hogs was crazy. I've never got that close and them not get spooked before. And finding that camp was really interesting. What do y'all think about that stuff? I thought the camp was probably the coolest thing. I love like the history of the river and stuff. There's just not a lot of information about it, so you kind of have to really dig to find that kind of stuff. But yeah, let me know what you guys want to see next. You want to see some more hunting, some more fishing? I had somebody say they want to see some more bush hook stuff. I kind of want to do that. Wish the river would come up a little bit. It's been super low lately. We've just not had much rain, and when we do, it just does not bring the river up a whole bunch. So hopefully we'll get some rain soon. It's kind of tough to do the bush hooks when it's so low because the sandbars are everywhere, but we can try it anyway. But yeah, thanks for watching and commenting. If you're not subscribed, maybe think about it. You know, it's free. It doesn't cost anything, and it helps the channel, you know, makes us look bigger, and we can get bigger sponsors and get better gear and stuff. And make sure you check out all our sponsors in the description. You know, Kalkal, Wattcycle, Insta360, they all send us stuff to try out. And if you guys buy something from them, that we get a little bit of money from that. So that's really cool. But anyways, we'll see y'all next time.